Bohemian Rhapsody is finally a movie. This is a biopic about Freddie Mercury and the legendary band Queen. If you don't know who Queen is, I don't know what to tell you. You should probably go and see this movie to find out. The film is directed by Bryan Singer, or I should say was directed by Bryan Singer, but he was later fired and replaced with Dexter Fletcher. Great sign for the film. The film stars Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury, as the movie follows Mercury's journey from being a baggage handler at Heathrow Airport to the international music icon that we know him to be today. This movie is a funny one because naturally it would feature a lot of iconic songs from Queen, and if you are a Queen fan like myself, then it would be more difficult to not enjoy this film. I will attempt to be as fair as I can towards this movie, but I cannot lie when I say that I had a blast. Learning a bit more about Freddie Mercury's personal life, his ups and downs, the way the band came up with all its greatest hits, it was really entertaining to watch. And yes, it is dramatized. Not everything portrayed in the film is historically accurate, I'm sure. Freddie Mercury was undoubtedly a very complicated man, and I can't pretend to know much about him at all. But I went into this film wanting to see some good performances, some good music, and knowing that it is based off a true story, not necessarily a true story. And I think sometimes that's okay. I'm a big fan of Rami Malek. I've loved him ever since I saw him in Mr. Robot. I wasn't sure if he was the right guy to play such a legendary musician. I am one of those people that would have preferred Sacha Baron Cohen when he was linked to the role. But I was very surprised by how great Rami Malek was in his role. Specifically the movement, the mannerism. You can tell that he has been training, he has been studying Freddie Mercury, and he's been training to pretty much be him. And it wasn't like an impersonation or anything, because he really felt like he embodied the spirit of Freddie, even though he will always look like the Mr. Robot guy to me. Just his energy, his eccentricity, his personality, it was really incredible to watch. And honestly, I do think there is a Best Actor nomination waiting for Rami Malek, I really do. And I'm not sure if it was just my eyesight or maybe some really good casting, but the other band members in this film look very similar to their real life counterparts at that age, and I thought that was actually pretty cool. I'm also really glad to see Lucy Boynton in this movie. I recognize her from Sing Street, another great movie if you haven't seen that. But she's good in this movie. She isn't given that much to do, to be honest, just reacting a lot to what Freddie is saying and doing, and she goes away after a certain period of time. I would have liked to see a lot more of her in this film. If you are a Queen fan, I think there's a lot to enjoy in this movie because these performance scenes are absolutely fantastic. You feel like you just want to get up from your seat and sing along with the crowd. One thing I like about this film is that because the original band members Brian May and Roger Taylor had the rights to the music from Queen and they allowed it to be used in the movie, that meant that they held nothing back with the songs. They were real music, real lyrics, and you might think that that's a very simple thing, it's a very obvious thing, right? Well, you'd be surprised. A few movies I've seen before about famous people could not include their original songs or their speeches because of rights issues, so I thought that it was a very important part of this movie. It could not have been done any other way in my opinion. If you are not a Queen fan, then I can actually see why you might not be as impressed with the movie because it does lean heavily on the songs and the story does follow a rather standard route. Nothing about the writing was very surprising. I do actually feel that certain people might be bored around the middle section of the film where we have a rather annoying character that leads Freddie down a certain path. I feel like the last 20 minutes might get a bit draggy for certain people as well. I certainly was very into it and I could have used more of those last 20 minutes if possible, but that's just me. The direction was good overall, no complaints. The best praise I can give it is that it doesn't feel like it was directed by two different people. One thing that does bother me, however, is that we never really explored the relationship between Freddie Mercury and his family. He always seems very distant and uncaring when the topic of his heritage is brought up, and I do feel that there was a lack of depth in that regard. I feel like a lot of character could have been fleshed out in those moments. But as I said before, the main focus here really is Rami Malek's performance as well as the music. I do feel this is really more of a tribute to Queen and Freddie Mercury rather than a deep dive into the psyche behind the complicated musical genius that is Freddie Mercury. And some people would hate that. I understand. I know that there is an argument to be made that this is a big opportunity missed, but personally I thought it was a very good viewing experience, and that is why I am going to give Bohemian Rhapsody a 7.5 out of 10. Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, then drop a like below, comment and let me know what you thought of the film. Share the video on all your social media platforms. I would really appreciate it. If you love this video, you want to see more movie reviews from me, then hit that subscribe button below. I will see you next time with another movie review. So until next time, have a great week ahead, maximum hype, and peace out.